everyone, and welcome to April 9th General Hospital Recap. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps. My goal is by September, I stay caught up. But I hope you guys are liking the more edited ones, because I don't know, I've been really enjoying making those, and I am planning to incorporate some new stuff in it too, like I did with the balloon festival. Stay updated with that. It's supposed to rain today, and the weather was like, hey, how about we do the exact opposite? At the PCPD, Jordan and Nathan walk in together. They gave their statements about Julie and Jerome to the court, and apparently it took a lot longer than they expected. Maxie calls Nathan. He asks how Paris is, but turns out she's there at the PCPD. What are the chances? For another layover, Georgie has a camp presentation that she wants to see, so she does have to get back sooner than she would, normally plan to. So she asks if they can go have lunch at the park, and he has to return an email, and then they can head out. And then she asks him what he was going to talk to her about last time before she had to leave. So Nathan gets a text and has to head out, and Maxie will ride along. And we'll get to that in a second. So at General Hospital, Liz and Kiki are forging a friendship. She was pulled into a medical emergency, and she went more above and beyond, and it was stuff that normally a nurse's aide wouldn't be involved with, but they needed someone. And now Dr. Bench wants to speak with her. And I'm feeling this Dr. Bench right now, to be honest with you. I like him, and I hope they kind of work with him more and everything. But on a side note, I've been watching Playing House, and he kind of reminds me of Dr. Erickson a little bit, just with the demeanor. Or Dr. Popsicle, should I say. Watch Playing House if you don't. It's hilarious. It's on USA. But it's on demand, season 3. You can watch it all. It's 8 episodes for free, and it won't disappoint you, I promise. Way beyond her responsibilities as a nurse's aide, she apologizes, and he was like, no, I was impressed by you. She stayed calm under pressure and really stepped up. He sees potential in her, and he asks if she ever thought about medical school. He saw her in action. He's heard nothing but glowing reviews. The profession needs people like her, and I am so down for Kiki going to medical school, to be honest with you. I want that story. Give me that story. And now Jordan comes up and needs to speak with him. At the park, Stella and Curtis are in the park. She wants him to go get food from Kelly's, and she's going to stay and hang out. And after Curtis leaves, Stella hears something in the bushes. She looks and then yells, and then Valerie's jogging nearby and stops, and is like, what's going on? So Stella's gonna call the police, and Valerie's like, I am the police. So Mac and Felicia were, how should I say it, enjoying each other's company in the bushes, I think is the most delicate way to put it. Mac and Felicia hope they can get a pass on this. Mac kind of pulls his former police commissioner card, and he has friends in the police, and Stella's like, well, I'm going to press charges then. Felicia pulls the son-in-law card. Poor Valerie is going to regret stopping. She should have just kept jogging and let someone else deal with this, because now she's dealing with a civilian who wants to press charges because, obviously, Mac and Felicia were doing something they weren't supposed to be doing in public, and Mac and Felicia are like, yeah, we were the former police commissioner, and still really close with police, so good luck with that. Nathan arrives, and Valerie fills him in, and Maxie's there, and she's like, oh my goodness, what happened? And Stella's like, they were committing public indecency. So then Stella really goes after them, and Nathan tries to smooth it all over, and then Stella leaves to meet Curtis because she's quite had enough. And Valerie decides that, technically, yeah, you were doing something wrong, but, obviously you're upstanding members of the public who just, did something wrong. So let's call this a warning. And it's like, okay. Valerie then pulls a literal by Felicia, and I'm like, okay, I've forgiven Valerie a little bit more for what happened when she first came on the scene. And Maxie is like, what got into you two? I come to Port Charles to find this? What? At Kelly's, Finn has the marriage license. That was fast. Hayden gets another text from Jared, and her mind is wandering, and Finn can tell. She says she's just worried about pulling all this off in such a short time frame. Curtis comes over, and they tell him about the wedding, and of course he's invited. Hayden gets a text and has to leave. It's Jared. He wants to meet him now. Finn kind of asks Curtis to be his best man, and he says yes, he'd be honored. In fairy tale land, where this is real life, I would love for Tracy to have stood up for Finn and for Curtis to have stood up for Hayden at their wedding. That would be my fantasy maid of honor and best man, what have you. Best person and man of honor, I think, is what they call him. But anyway, also at Kelly's, Dylan is outside. He and Kiki have a quick phone call, and she'll be headed over soon. And she's there. She tells him about working in the ER and how Dr. Bench, I know it's not spelled like bench, but that's how I'm hearing it right now. But on the closed caption, it's BENSCH. So it's like more like bench, but I'm Carly, so what we're gonna do. He asked to talk to her. He was impressed and thinks she should go to medical school, and he would help with all the logistics. Like, he really wants her to go to medical school. So Dylan thinks that it would be amazing, Dr. Jerome, and honestly, I'm so on board for it. And she wonders if she, like, what if she doesn't have what it takes? Like, everyone puts all this faith in her and she fails. Stella finds Valerie at Kelly's and they talk. It's all very lighthearted. She's here looking for her nephew, but Curtis already left. Valerie tells her to just text him and, you know, get him back here, because Stella was like going to go physically go look for them. And Stella's like, oh, that's a good idea. And then she starts fishing to see if Valerie has a husband or a boyfriend. And I'm like, oh my god, she's going to try to set her up with Curtis. And like, oh my god, I can't. Like, I am so looking forward to that. It probably already happened. I'm a little behind. Stella and Val really do click, and Valerie kind of agrees to whatever she wants to set up with her nephew. Back at the park, Jared sneaks up behind Hayden because, like, literally, I feel like in the script, his character description is just like, always be as obnoxious as possible at all turns. Like, never not be obnoxious. Just constantly be obnoxious. I am over Jared. Can you tell? Like, I'm over all this contrived, let's send Hayden off on a bad note. Like, it just makes me sad. If, like, I know I get angry and salty about it, but I'm now, oh my god, am I going through the 5 stages of grief? Yeah, I am. My god. I'm literally going through the 5 stages. One sec. Okay, so here's the 5 stages of grief. Denial, which I kind of hoped that this was a ruse like they did with Rebecca Herbst. It wasn't like a real firing, just a way to get people fired up. Anger. You watched that video. Bargaining. Yeah, I think I've been bargaining because it's like the whole with the storyline. I don't know. I might have gone through bargaining. I have to think about that. I'm now in the depression stage where it just makes me sad. And acceptance is going to be next, but that's not going to come for a little bit. So I have literally gone through the 5 stages of grief with Hayden. That is kind of hilarious, I'm not going to lie. So Jared sneaks up behind Hayden, because we've discussed that's the kind of person he is, and he asks where the money is. Didn't he say you have a week? I know it hasn't been a week in soap opera time, because a week in soap opera time is like 2 months. But apparently the wire transfer should have already come through, so okay, I'll give you a pass, but I just needed to get that out. I need to know how I felt real time. And she says there's a problem. So she says she has to do this a smart way. She set up a dummy corporation and she's arranged for GH to make an order. Then the account will be his to drain, and she'll pretend that she's been duped by a bad corporation and she might get fired, but that's it. And then Curtis walks up on them and introduces him as her old friend from college, and Curtis mentions the wedding, and now he's totally going to attend. And I'm like, I hate this so much. You've turned something that I've looked forward to since day one of, ooh, Hayden and Finn, now made this ugly thing, and I'm in anger again. I'm regressing. But Curtis is suspicious, and he knows something's wrong, and he feels something's up with Jared. She tries to cover, and he says that she can tell him anything. She says she's not in trouble yet, and starts to cry a little. Her past is coming back to haunt her. He offers to get the cops involved or call his powerful friends. She says no. But honestly, you don't think a call from Sonny Corinthos could clear this all up? Because I think it could. He can blow up her life and has nothing to lose. His life? I mean, I'm just saying, if they want to do this the smart way and not the contrived way, have Sonny make a call. Guy will be gone. And she made a huge mistake a long time ago. He's like, but what if this guy demands more than what you give him? And she's like, well, it's a risk I have to take. And he says he knows what it's like to have a past he regrets, and the best thing he did was come clean. He tells her not to be a victim, talk to Finn before she gets in too deep. Too late. At the Maxie, Nathan, Mac Felicia debacle over there, it comes out that Ask Man Landers really kicked their marriage into high gear, which is not awkward at all. At Maxie, Ask Man Landers is an overrated hack. He turned her magazine down, so he's dead to her apparently. And Nathan kind of comes to his defense. Aw. And now Maxie is like, why are you defending him? So he thinks that he's a fan, and he admits that sometimes he reads the blog, honey. So Maxie asks him to come with her to Portland for good. Ooh, that took a turn. So back at General Hospital, Finn tells Liz that he and Hayden are engaged and they're getting married tomorrow. And he's inviting her for Hayden. It's been interesting to watch their relationship evolve. Yeah, exactly. Hamilton Finn, would you like to sit in the chair next to me? Because you'd be awesome at this. I feel like sometimes I'm CinemaSins. Jordan and Dr. Bench are talking. She's asking about why the guard left Garvey, which allowed Jason Morgan in. And he says he got called away, but it was a ruse. And then the movie Angels with Dirty Faces gets brought up, which I watched in film class. Cagney, if you don't, I feel, I don't know if you, I know I've watched it because I was in film class, but if I wasn't, I'd probably have never seen it. And then, they both like movies from the 20s and 30s. That kind of gets brought up, and there's a local theater that's gonna be showing some of those movies, and Dr. Bench asks if she'd like to go with him, and honestly, I'm here for this. Okay, but you know what? Then next thing you'll know, Jordan will be the next to go. So, I shouldn't jinx it. And now end scene. Maxie knows what she's asking of Nathan, and it's just something for him to think about. She doesn't want to answer right now. She wants him to leave on a good note. She takes her phone out of her bag and makes a call, and I believe it's to her magazine, and she wants to do a story unmasking the identity of Ask Man Landers. And unfortunately, Nathan isn't privy to that conversation. Kiki doesn't think that she's going to do this whole medical school thing. She doesn't want to set herself up for disappointment. Dylan believes that she can do it, and he'll support any decision she makes, but not for long, I guess. Sorry, refer to other video, trying to keep the salt to a minimum. Jordan isn't sure, because he's a witness in the investigation, and he's like, yeah, but I wasn't a great witness. And she's like, I just gotta have a relationship, and I'm not looking for, and he's like, look, it's just a Cagney movie and a drink, no big deal, nothing official. But she says, no, not yet, she's not there yet, but I like him, and I think she should like him too. Come on, Jordan, get on my level. Stella gives Valerie her number. They'll be in touch for the blind date. Oh my goodness, I cannot. Curtis finds Stella. He was worried, and she's all happy with herself. And I wish she would have been like, look at this girl I found for you. She's right there, but that doesn't happen because, that would ruin the hilarity, and I'm ready. Hayden comes back to the hospital. She needs to talk to Finn, and of course there's an emergency. Hayden tells Liz she was right about her. She always finds a way out of consequences, but she's changed, and she hopes that everyone can see that. And Hayden wants the wedding to go off without a problem, and she doesn't want anyone to ruin it. And Liz offers her help. Hayden needs it. She needs a maid of honor. And Elizabeth is more than happy to do that. But something is still off. Finn comes back. Hayden says she asks Elizabeth to be her maid of honor. He says Curtis will be his best man. Jared's leaving Hayden a threatening message. And Elizabeth tells Hayden the bank called. There's suspicious activity. So there we go. So that is it for the 9th General Hospital recap. Thank you so much for watching. And I will see you next video. Okay, bye.